I've just had a breakthrough. Here's the thing. This is my new travel setup. I did a video yesterday on how to set up this mixer to control different volume levels, for example, in the MPC. And I very recently got the MPK Mini with a specific vision in mind. I wanted to be able to switch between instruments by using the pads. So I could have a bass, I hit that button, play the bass, hit that button, play the keys. And at first I could not for the life of me figure out how to do that and had just written it off and thought it wasn't possible. But this morning I figured it out and I am going to show you how to do that now. So I've simplified to just the MPC Live 2 and the MPK Mini for this demonstration purposes and taking the mixer out. And I'm going to start with a new project so you can follow along exactly and see everything I do to make this work. And for this, we'll use two plugins. I'm going to put a baseline plugin, just change to something you can hear, on the first channel, first track, and on the second track, we'll do a new plugin. And we'll make this one the electric. The next step to make this work is to go into Menu, Preferences, MIDI, and there's two settings in here that matter. One is track, and that may be highlighted for you by default. Then here's the magic part I discovered this morning. If you scroll to the bottom, there's Program Change. Program Change has a few options inside: Program, Sequence, and Track. You want to go to track, and then on the MPK Mini, you have this option here for program change. And these are pad controls. If you've had this for a minute, I'm sure you've figured this out. But when you click on program change and click these buttons, it's sending a program change message per button. And the beauty of it, probably since these are both Akai devices, they've lined up that communication so that it already works out of the box. Watch this. Track 1, bass. Track 2, electric. It's beautiful. So now I can just jam down here, quickly access the buttons and knobs, and not have to reach further. Or if I have this off to the side, I can do it all from here and don't have to mess with this, which is the vision here I'm trying to realize. Now, I'll show you a couple more things before we part. You can see what's happening pretty well by going into the tracks, and you can see how it's selecting the track and arming the track. And this is good because what that means is we can also record. So if I set a 1-bar loop and turn on my metronome, hit go, there we go, notes are off screen. Then I can switch to my new track. Can move around and capture all the notes. And as you can imagine, I can do this for up to 8, perhaps even 16 with the additional bank. But I'm happy with 8. I like to keep things in 8. My Novation launch control has 8 channels. So I'll be able to select my instrument and then fade things in and out and have more control over each instrument here. Again, I created a video yesterday where I talk about how to set this up with the MPC, but now I've got everything I need with these 3 devices to take the show on the road, and I'll be demonstrating that in subsequent videos. Oh, and one last thing. If you go into Menu, Preferences, and under that in the MIDI section, under that last thing, we had a couple more options, right? So what do those do? Program. If we come back to Program, instead of being able to move through plugins, what Program does is it'll let you move through drum programs, for example. It doesn't actually seem to work on plugins. It'll jump back to drum programs to say, hey, look, that's what you should be changing. So if I just create 2 drum programs to demo, you can see that it's moving between those. And that's within the same track. So another way you could do this is to set this up to play drum programs and then switch between the drum programs if you didn't want to use the plugins, for example, and that would be within the same track. For the sequence, it's what you might imagine. If we go into menu, switch to sequence, and then it's switching between the different sequences. There you have it. If you found this useful, I really appreciate if you can click that like button, subscribe if you'd like to stay connected and catch more of these videos, and may the groove be with you.